Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Engineering Dynamics. In this video, we will be again covering a short exercise regarding the Lagrange equations. Let's jump right in. We have a system, and that system consists out of two masses. We have mass 1 that is gliding along the floor, and we have mass 2. In this case, this is the mass of the pendulum. So in all the other exercises, we thought that the pendulum is massless, but in this case, we actually have a mass on our pendulum. The mass is connected to the pendulum with the spring C, and we are given the angle and the displacement. And these two coordinates, so the angle and the displacement, is all that we need to fully classify or fully describe our system. So this is why we have x and phi as our generalized coordinates. So this is why we have q. This is the first thing we always have to do, is find the vector of generalized coordinates. So q is x and phi. So the next thing we have to do is to get the kinetic energy of the whole system. And we do that step by step. We first look at mass number 1. So here we have 1.5 times the mass times, oh, sorry, that was the wrong one. So this is mass 1. So we have 1.5 times capital M times L times phi dot, because we have a change in angle, and we have the length squared. So this is our velocity. Let's make velocity actual velocity. And we have it squared. So this is the kinetic energy of mass 1. If we look at mass 2, it's very simple. We again have 1.5 times m times x dot squared. Now we have to look at the kinetic, at the potential energy. So the potential energy is, first of all, we have mass 2, but mass 2 doesn't have any potential energy because it's just gliding along the horizontal axis. We have mass 1 that can go up and down. And that's why we have the potential energy. We have minus cosine phi times L times M times G. We have a minus because if we increase the angle, our potential goes up, but the cosine looks like this. So it actually goes down first. So that's why we have to minus to account that for and actually increase the potential if the angle increases. And of course, we can't forget our spring C. So if we stretch the spring, we add more potential. If we let the spring contract, we remove potential. So then we have the potential energy. We have 1.5 times C times the length that we stretch the spring itself. So one part is, of course, the distance x, we move mass 2. So let's imagine that this point is fixed and we only move mass 2. So x will be the distance, the length of our spring. But because we can move the angle phi, we can change the angle. So this point will actually move along, and it will move along with the tangent. So we have x minus tangent of alpha times a. A is the distance from the floor to our fixed point. And of course, squared because we need the energy. Now the next things are very, very straightforward. So first of all, we have to add both potential energies from mass 1 and mass 2, and add both potential energies here and both kinetic energies right there. So we have the sum of the kinetic energy of the whole system, and we have the sum of the potential energy of the whole system. The next thing are also a straightforward approach. So first of all, we have to take a partial derivative with our q's. So we have first to derive with q dot is, our q dot. So q dot is x dot and phi dot. So if we derive, we get a mx dot and ml squared phi dot, because one part comes from here and the other part comes from the kinetic energy, one part comes from here and the other part from right there. And now we have to do a time derivative. So if we derive it with time, we just add another dot on the x and phi. If we just derive with q, and so with q, that's x and phi, we get 0. Because the kinetic energy is only dependent, in this case, on the change of our generalized coordinates. So we don't have any x and we don't have any phi. So that's why it's 0, 0. If we derive the potential energy, on the other hand, we get this lengthy expression. So we have to derive the first, the potential energy first with our, this is the x d, sorry, that's wrong. That's derive the potential energy with x, and here we derive the potential energy with our angle. So we get these two expressions. The last thing to do is to just summarize these terms that we just found out, and these are our equations of motion. So we add up, let me change color, we add this term with this term, and we get our equations of motion. And this is all we have to do. So just get the potential energy, the kinetic energy, then do some derivatives, add them back together, and you're done. I hope this video gave you a better understanding about how to work with systems and get the potential kinetic energy and the Lagrange equations at the end, which will lead to our equations of motion. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments down below. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'll see you in the next video.